This conference will now be recorded.
Let
Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss only medical management of port spine. So, do you all know about tuberculosis in earlier classes? What the earlier faculty discussed? So, tuberculosis, the extra tuberculosis, and pulmonary tuberculosis. So, in extra pulmonary tuberculosis, we relate in orthopedics only skeletal tuberculosis. So, in orthopedics, we deal with only skeletal tuberculosis. So in that too, we are going to discuss medical management of port spine. So there are two, one is medical management and surgical management. So now we are going to only discuss only medical management of port spine, that is anti-tuberculous drugs. So what is port spine? So you all know about what is port spine. That is tuberculosis of the spine. That's what we call port spine. And there is one more term, that is port paraplegia. That is tuberculosis of the spine with involving neurological deficits, that is paraplegia. So what we call this port paraplegia is tuberculosis of the spine with involving neurological deficits. So now we are going to discuss only medical management of port spine, that is anti-tuberculous drugs. So what is the aim of treatment? So first of all, we should achieve the healing of the disease to the patient, and as well as possible, we should detect early and to prevent and treat the patient for any complication like paraplegia. So what does the treatment consist? So treatment consists of anti-tubercular chemotherapy, general care, and care of the spine, and treatment of the cold abscess. So treatment of the cold abscess that goes under the surgical management of the tuberculosis. So now we are going to discuss medical management. Coming to anti-tubercular chemotherapy. So what does it include? So the mainstay of the treatment is prolonged uninterrupted multi-drug anti-tubercular chemotherapy for 12 to 18 months. It's the gold standard. So earlier standard intermittent regimen was used under DOTS regimen. So now the principle of the treatment of TB has been shifted towards daily regimen with administration of daily fixed dose combination of first line anti-TB drugs as pre-operative weight bands. So previously it was determined that anti-tuberculosis drugs is given on alternate doses. So now it was recommended as daily regimen. So what does include the anti-tuberculosis? What are the drugs included in the anti-tuberculosis? HRZD, that is isoniazid, indicates H, that is 5 milligram per kg body weight. Rifampicin, that is 10 milligram per kg body weight. Pyrazinamide, that is 30 milligram per kg body weight. Ethambutol, that is 15 to 20 milligram per kg. So all are bacteriostatic except ethambutol. Okay, so all are bactericidal except ethambutol. It's a bacteriostatic. And streptomycin, that is 50 milligram per kg body weight. So these are all the drugs which are included in the anti-tuberculosis drugs. That is the first line. Now, what are the drugs that include in the second line tuberculosis drugs? In the second line, it comes under parenteral agents, fluoroquinolones, and oral bacteriostatic drugs. Parenteral agent. So kanamycin, amikacin, capreomycin. So 15 milligram per kg body weight, all the three includes. And in fluoroquinolones, there are levofloxacin, moxifloxacin, gatifloxacin, and ofloxacin. And oral bacteriostatic drugs. So what is indicated? Ethionamide or prothionamide. So that is 50 milligram per kg body weight. And cycloserine and terizolide, that is 50 milligram per kg body. And PAS, that is p-aminosalicylic acid, that is up to 300 milligrams per kg body weight. So these are all comes under second line of anti-tuberculosis drugs. So now come to daily regimen for new pulmonary tuberculosis. So in pulmonary tuberculosis, the treatment consists of two phases. One is intensive phase and one is extensive phase. In intensive phase, there are it should be continued not less than 8 weeks of isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol in a daily doses manner. So in extensive phase, there is no need for extension of. There is no need to extend any drugs in intensive phase. Only pyrazinamide will be stopped in continuation phase. So what do you understand? Only pyrazinamide is stopped in extensive phase. So remaining all the drugs are continued in the intensive phase for 8 weeks. So other 3 drugs will be continued for another 16 weeks as daily doses. So here type of TB case, any new case suspected, the treatment regimen will be 2 months will be given, that as HRJD, that is isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol for 2 months. And treatment regimen in the continuous phase, it was given 4 months, that is HRE, that is isoniazid, rifampicin and ethambutol. So how do you manage spinal tuberculosis? So the intensive phase remains the same as in pulmonary. So previously, what I told in pulmonary tuberculosis, the treatment regimen will be continued the same in extra pulmonary tuberculosis, that is skeletal tuberculosis. That is continuous phase is extended depending on the response of the patient to the treatment. So we extend the phase according to the combination of the treatment. Okay. So combination of rifampicin, isoniazid, ethambutol, pyrazinamide for 2 months, followed by combination of rifampicin and isoniazid for a total period of 6, 9, 12 or 18 months. Depends upon the recovery of the patient. Depends upon the recovery of the patient. We extend for up to 6 weeks, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or even 18 months, or up to 24 months. So we continue the drugs in extensive phase. So this is the most important frequent protocol used for the treatment of the spinal tuberculosis. So pulmonary tuberculosis and extrapulmonary tuberculosis, skeletal tuberculosis, the drug regimen will be same, but the continuation phase will be different. So in newer regimen, newer protocol, the multi-drug resistant. So if there is any multi-drug resistant for tuberculosis, so what will you do? So multi-drug resistant tuberculosis defined as a resistant organism to rifampicin isoniazid. So it will become resistant for rifampicin isoniazid. So there is lack of, so what is goes? Lack of clinical or radiological improvement, development of a new lesion or a cold abscess, or an increase in the bone destruction in spite of medical treatment for 3 to 5 months may indicate multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. So this is the important one. So for the treatment of multi-drug resistant TB, an average of 6 anti-tuberculosis drugs for at least 24 months is recommended. This is the most important, is the newer regimen. So recently it was announced like this. For the treatment of multi-drug resistant TB, an average of 6 anti-tuberculosis drugs for at least 24 months, that is 2 years, it was recommended for the patient. So 5 drugs that are expected to be effective in the initial intensive phase, and 4 drugs that are likely to be effective in the continuation phase. So in initial phase, that too in intensive phase, that is 5 drugs, and in continuation phase, there are 4 drugs. So duration of the initial phase is 6 to 9 months, and the total therapy lasts to 20 to 24 months. As earlier I said, up to 2 years we can continue the drugs for the tuberculosis patient. So this is the gold standard, this is the new regimen. So what we are following right now. So what are the determinants for the patient for successful outcome? So close monitoring of the patient for development of adverse reactions is very, very important. So the determinants of a successful outcome in multi-drug resistant TB are as follows. So the following points which are used to for complete outcome, successful outcome for the patient from the tuberculosis is, these are the points we should follow. Number 1, progressive clinical improvement at 6 months following chemotherapy is very important. Radiological improvement during treatment. So frequent X-ray, radiological, CT, MRI. So what are the investigations required? We should thoroughly examine by radiological improvement. Radiologically, we should see the improvement of the patient. Third one is disease with mycobacterium tuberculosis strains that are resistant to less than or up to 3 anti-tubercular drugs, and the use of less than or up to 4 second-line drugs in the treatment. So there is no change of regimen during the treatment. So the regimen is same. So how should we care the spine in a patient of tuberculosis? So what are the care? What is the measurements? What is the care we are going to take? So consists of providing rest during acute phase followed by guarded mobilization. So we should mobilize the patient in initial phase. Short period of bed rest may suffice during early stages of treatment, but in case with significant vertebral destruction, longer period of rest is advised. If there is any vertebral damage, longer period, the rest is advised for the tuberculosis patient. So mobilization is allowed with support to cervical spine by collar or soft collar or hard collar or a brace for dorsolumbar spine. So when the patient improves and is allowed to sit and walk, so no need of mobilization when the patient is able to walk. So care of the spine, and one more thing is the spine supports. The spinal supports are gradually removed as bone fusion occurs. So the patient is advised to avoid sports for 2 years in the treatment of tuberculosis. Thank you. So you might have enjoyed the class. This is a small class. Only I discussed only medical management of the treatment of tuberculosis in the spine. So rest of the treatment, the surgical management, whatever it may be discussed by the faculty of the coming faculty and explorers. Thank you.